two kind of interesting topics I wanted to bring up today. So I was literally stoked. And you'll see why that's such a saying for me today. And why we're going to talk about being stoked in our business analysis work, our change management, project management, and more. And so want to talk through a couple of different items here. And I'm going to share a screen, show you some items. I'll make sure and grab the links so I can put them in here in chat. But it was interesting because those of you, let's see, I'm going to get the IIBA ECBA. Excuse me, the ECBA is the Entry Certificate to Business Analysis. And so I've talked about this on other chats before. So this is the ECBA certification. I'll put here in chat. I'm a big fan of it because it is all about, allowing you to show, the knowledge, but you may not have the experience yet. So going to get the ECBA certification is one of those things, especially here locally where in my community, but I've heard about it abroad, is recruiters say people get hired because they have a certification. And I mean, get hired over people with experience. Because you know what an industry standard terminology, vocab, concepts, tasks, techniques are, they're happy to give you the experience to apply those. And so that's why the ECBA certification's important. And so I like that because you don't have to have been ever a BA, but you get the information of what is business analysis. Again, common concepts. What should a quote business analyst, because we know there's lots of ways to describe it, what should a business analyst be doing or might be capable of, or basically how are they adding value? And so with the update now, there was a big update on it. So it was updated this year, and it changed because the questions got a little bit more than just pure vocab. But one of the things I was helping people with is they also now, not just the BABOK Business Analysis Body of Knowledge Guide is the quintessential vocab or foundation of business analysis work. Again, doesn't mean you have to be a business analyst or ever call the title or role, but do you do business analysis work? That's what the BABOK guide is for, okay? Now, what they have, though, is this standard. I'm going to put the link here in our chat, too, because, I'm a sharer. Let's share as much as we can, right? So the business analysis standard. And you know what's really cool? If you're not an IIBA member, you can totally go get that business analysis standard for free. So if you know of anyone who needs this, go have them go get the business analysis standard. This is a great reference. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you mine so we can take a look at this. All right. So I'm going to share. Let's over here. Here we go. All right. So we're looking at the business analysis standard. So this is what's free. And I want to bring you in because there were some interesting things I saw here in this book. Okay. So now one of the things they put here in the standard again, is just simply what is core foundation. So this is like they took the BABOK guide and they tried to make it simpler. But what they did though is, and I think this is why we're seeing the reflection of the change of the exam, is look what's in here. It's not just defining business analysis, but then a model for good analysis. That's the core concept model. That's talked extensively in the BABOK guide. I'll show you it here because they use it in a framework. But here's where I thought was really kind of interesting, and to take that pause. See this mindset for effective business analysis, the importance of mindset, the ways to think, and principles to adopt. And I was actually going through this a little bit. So I'm going to get down in here. Here we are. So mindset for effective business analysis, the importance of mindset. And I love because one of the first bullets highlighted here is this value to be created. Oops, and here I write all over it, okay? See that value to be created? Where's my highlighter? I think that would be a better option here. See this value to be created right here. That's one of those important things to where what value do you provide? We were just talking about it today about the book launch I've got coming up for my new book on the business analysis career master plan. is that what is your mindset and are you providing the most value? Think about that. If you had team members who all they focus on is the maximum value they could provide, like, wouldn't that be great? Because that's what we want to see, right? If everyone's doing the most valuable item at the most important time, right reason, it's the value that's created. But you look through these items, these mindsets here collectively. Do you prioritize value delivery? Do you empathize with impacted stakeholders? This is what we're doing in our work. And I thought it was interesting because they spent some time on the importance of mindset in here. And, ways to think about business analysis. But they throw in here, I thought was interesting. This is where, like you say, a little bit more, not so entry level. See these principles to adopt? Those are from their agile analysis concepts, how to think in an agile manner. That every good business analyst, they're saying, probably should have these as part of their package, part of their core. And so I thought was interesting is like, here they are, very agile based topics, but they're saying these are essential in how you think about your analysis work to actually performing. And so I'll come back to this because I have a framework to show you all just going to help you think about your work because we're going through lots of changes. But those principles to adopt, I thought were, I'm like, okay, these are kind of interesting. So just that piece there alone, that wanting to think about your own approach to your business analysis work, just page here 5 and 6, pulling these out and just asking yourself, am I thinking about this daily? Am I thinking about this daily? If you're not, do I need to be? Could this be a question? And so to give you these insights here. And again, this is free. I put the download link in the chat, make sure and chime in with questions, by the way. Remember, this collaboration chat. Don't let me talk the whole time. I will happily talk the whole time. Not a problem. As long as I'm adding value, I'm okay with that. However, if you've got questions as we keep going, let's talk about that. Now, what I do like in here, I'm going to jump back into this guide because again, sorry, not this guide, this is the standard. It's a great overview. So if you're a manager, someone managing business analysts or trying to grow that role, even here, foundational concepts, but I like this, foundational techniques. What are some common techniques that you're going to want of your analyst? So whether you call them business analysts, professionals or not, what skill set, what do you want people doing for those that are interested in, maybe working on your team or hiring? See, process analysis. I don't know about you, but I generally can't get through any change effort without a process map of some sort. And then requirements and design. What does that mean? How do they break out? It's really valuable information here. Great foundation. Here's what's pretty cool though. I'm going to jump over here. So the 6 knowledge areas. Now this comes from the BABOK guide. So if you haven't read the BABOK, that's what you read when you can't fall asleep, okay? It's what we need to study for the CVAP certifications and the ECBA and CCBA. It's the body of knowledge. It's how we work. What the standard does here is it gives you the cliff notes. I do really like this. For think anyone who likes quick reference guides. What they do is, so each knowledge area, there's 6. And so here we have business analysis, planning, and monitoring. This is the knowledge area. And in this knowledge area, there are a number of tasks. And so they're just kind of giving a general overview what this knowledge area. So knowledge areas are just simply groupings of tasks, okay? They're just natural groupings. There's no logical order to them. There's no weight on one or the other, but they're just how they group tasks because business analysis isn't always linear. There's no checklist from start to finish. It depends what you're doing. So with the knowledge areas, but here's the piece. In each knowledge area in the standard, they then created what they call task cards. And these are you can literally print page 19 is on the left. I have them in 2-page view here. 1 page, each page is its own page for every single one of those 30 tasks that are common to business analysis practitioners. So such as this one is planned stakeholder engagement. What's the purpose? What value does it provide? What's the solution? What techniques could you use? Who are the stakeholders typically involved? And what's the description of change? So those 6, why they always have these 6 things, those go back to the core concept model, that structure, that approach. Very similar. And then, but how cool it is, these are, it's called frequently used techniques. So those of you for the ECBA certification, this is where you're going to see the test questions. What are frequently used? Now, my professionals, those going for the CBAP, this is why you want to continue reading on the Babok guide for further, because they're not the only techniques. But if you wanted to know what is a task a business analyst commonly does, give me the what, the why, the hows, the where's, the when, the who's on it. Here is what's the input. This is the task in the middle, so give me inputs and outputs. And some things to consider with an example. That there's 30 of these cards in the standard for every single knowledge area. So here's elicitation collaboration, preparing for elicitation and conducting elicitation. They're one-pager cards that are great that fill up the standard here. So that's why I really love those on stuff. And what I'll do is, Critty, I see your comment. I'll come right back to you. But these are the standard. If you get this, they have a 1 page for each one of these. How cool is that? I don't know about, see, I think it's cool, but I get excited. You know me, I get excited about the little things. But I think that's great because that's like, I'm not going to date myself, but does anyone remember those Cliff Note yellow books that you didn't want to read in school that gave you the summary of what was happening? Yeah. So this is that for you. And so that's why I love these. And again, these are all part of the standard. That's what's in your, I put the link into chat for you. All right. Now, someone asked, does LinkedIn offer these certifications? LinkedIn does not offer the certifications, okay? So this is, remember, it's an industry standard on there, okay? And so you must certify with the International Institute of Business Analysis. They're the ones who do the certification. However, I have for you today the ECBA Cert Prep course on LinkedIn. I put the link for the ECBA Cert Prep course. I have a course that walks you through everything, what to study, how to study, and more. And I'm going to put here into chat too, because not one, but I also have the CBAP certification prep course. There you go. They're both in the chat. They're ready to go. Those are both available on LinkedIn. So now those courses prepare you for the certification. They're going to tell you everything you need. They've got the download worksheets. And if you have any trouble on those, let me know and I will help you out. And you know what? I think, okay, we need to give more, right? We can't just do a little bit. Let me see if I can get you before the end of the session. I'll post you how to get the success package. How's that? I'll give you a free success package on what that includes, what to study, how to study, some worksheets to help you, and more. Let's see. Here we go. All right, so I'll get that code in there so you can have bonus. So I'll try to help you, but yeah, so remember the ECBA, okay, success package. There it is. Okay. The ECBA, CBAP, those are governed by IIBA, and so you do need to get them, from IIBAs where you actually apply and then take the exam through them. LinkedIn Learning, I do have courses, everything you need to know and how to get prepped and ready so you can pass the application and the certification for both the entry level and the advanced, the professional, the certified business analysis professional. And so just for you, Critty, I'm putting here in chat, let's see, ECBA success package. And for those of you watching, use the code SUCCESS, all capitals, okay? Those of you who watch this, we're going to use all capitals for that free success package. So I put the link in there for the ECBA success package. Use code SUCCESS at checkout and it's completely free. Okay. So it says pay here, put in coupon code. Let me just real quick. Shh, don't tell anyone. This is the thank you for those watching. All right. Here's my screen. Okay. We're going to pause this. So right here, the ECBA success package, there's your secret code. Use code success, hit apply, and it'll be nice and free. So you can download that, get that for you. Thanks for joining me live or watching the recording. So see, all right. Have I given you enough resources yet? Because I told you I'm stoked. Okay, and when I mean I'm stoked, stoked is like a word that we often say, like in the surfing cultures. I'm still here in Hawaii, haven't gone anywhere. We love to get stoked. We love to get excited. It's energized. All right. And so when I say I get stoked about business analysis, I'm serious. But you know, I was starting to realize this gave me something really important. So I want to share with you something that means a lot to me. But I thought, could this be a framework that helps you think about things? You know, anything that adds value, that's what we want to do. So this is my STOKE framework here. And when I say STOKE framework, that stoke, getting stoked, but there's 5 things I think about that help us get successful in finding the most value in our analysis work. So whether you're a project manager, a product owner, change agent, more, I want you to think about these 5 things in all you do. And the reason why I'm using this a lot more now is because of the pace of technology, okay? And that when I talk about this, surfacing opportunities, transforming approaches, optimizing resources, kindling innovation, and then engaging teams. So what I mean by this, surfacing opportunities, this is, do you find what's maybe beneath the surface, right? But how do we maximize the value? And this will go right into a little bit to optimizing resources. But it's, are you asking, so what? So what could we do with this? So why does this matter? So what else could happen? What if we did it? What opportunities are out there? That really think through opportunity. Like, are you thinking through all these opportunities? This is what's really important, is what is available. You know, have you figured that out? You know, because the idea is if you can find something in what you already have and doing and more, or is it now possible? Something that wasn't possible before now is an opportunity. Are you bringing that up to the surface to maximize value? Because then, oops, sorry. There is our little AI play. Once you do that, then we can talk about transforming your approaches. Because think about AI. That's changing how we think. I do this all the time, like a Google search. I go to Google, I want an answer. How many of you like using AI? I still use Google. I go to Google, I search, I get my answer, I move on my merry way. I go to AI, I have a conversation. I explore a topic. Tell me more, give me more sources. What else could you do? What's that application? That's where now I'm changing how I approach my work. I'm not doing things the way I've always done them. I'm looking for different ways to approach how we solve problems, how we solution, how we make recommendations. That again, everything else is changing around you. So even if you don't want to change, the world is changing. So like, that's just going to be a fact. That's right there. That's changing. So are you changing your approaches as we go? Because, and then that leads us into that next question about the optimizing resources. Are we actually using what we already have? So these 3 really go together well when you look at what your current state is. Do you look at what you're already doing? Do you see where there's potential to leverage for more? How many of you, okay, let's just pause here. Well, this is one of those things for me. I have taught, lived, I've literally loved on SharePoint. And I've also muttered its name in vain underneath my breath. SharePoint is a great tool for organizations, especially enterprise. How many of you just have made it a clunky shared drive though, because all you do is share files and folders? You're not leveraging it. Here you have a tool that could do so much more, but we treat it with the same approach we did shared drives. No. We want to change our approach, transform the way we approach collaboration. We want to see, is there opportunities to work with our vendors, collaborate in real time? See, you're already using what you already have. We don't have to buy anything else. Just get smarter in how we use things. That is absolutely when I talk about the surfacing opportunities, transforming approaches, optimizing resources. It's like Microsoft Word. It can do more than write a document. It can do a whole lot. And so this is, like I said, again, same thing. Are you using the tools you already have to the best of your ability? Could you be doing something more? Do you need to perhaps transform your approach? Change the way you look at that. Because then when you're there, now you want to kindle that innovation. This is where you get excited about going, all right, what else could we do? Start bringing it up, start highlighting, push it, drive it out there. What else could we get from this? Or now that we know how things are working or what's possible, can we talk new ideas? What else could we do? Could we share more? And see, because now we've given people a spark, that piece, and that's where they're truly getting stoked. The stoke piece is what we want to get excited about, where we're engaging our teams now. Engage your teams. And so that the idea, think about how much value you could provide. You provide and one other person providing, 1 + 1 in that manner equals 2. When I work with someone else and we together try to spark those innovations, really try to bring together and get other ideas, just simply optimizing resources. What if we share how we did in one department with another department? Could they leverage it? Do they have another idea? How many of you get so frustrated when you find out the work you've been doing has been duplicated in another department? You could have leveraged resources, right? Optimized resources. We didn't know what other people were doing. And so like that part there, see this, why I say I get stoked. I'm using these core pillars to think about daily. What else is possible? How might I do things differently? Do I already have things that actually can do this function? Before purchasing something else, please don't get distracted by the shiny object. Oh my goodness, the shiny object. And so, but now that we know what is possible with the new stuff, do you get excited? Do you think about what else could we do? What else might be possible? And stuff, and that we start engaging the teams. This is where I want to get stoked. And Critty, thank you for chiming in that, yeah, we do the collaboration chats monthly, but this is exactly what we want. I want to give you something that you can use immediately in your day-to-day. That's where the focus is. Whereas if you have questions or concerns, comments, even if you watch the recordings with me, put the comments here on the event so that I can answer them. That's the best part, right? Encourage that collaboration, right? We want to engage our teams. So I'm doing this live. I'm trying to spark that, kindle that innovation for you. What you might think is possible. Have you thought about a certification? It could be as simple as that today. Have you thought about certifications? Because that can be really valuable to your career. You never know. Mine, it definitely helped. Open doors, promotions, more. I still do them. Yes, I'm crazy about the certification. The engaging the teams, though, this is where I want to share this out. What ideas do you have? What haven't we talked about? What else more? Where do you feel challenged that you can't directly apply these? Because these are concepts, these work from IIBA. These are all tools for your toolbox. Your challenge to you is, what are you going to do with them? How can you leverage these? Where can you see opportunity for maximum value? That's the cool part. All right. Well, chime into the chat. I'm going to stay here and because there's always a little delay here, these collaboration chats. If we're not connected already, make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest thing. The newsletter, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. Let's see how fast I can find that too for you. I know, don't worry. I only have like 75 tabs open, in my web browser. at one time. Don't worry, it's still functioning, sort of. But I do a newsletter both on LinkedIn and on my website so that I can try to share more with you. So if you're enjoying this and you want more, just even get notified of the events and more happening. Let's see here. Again, oh my goodness, I just have one too many collaboration chats. All right, let's see. Okay, here is the LinkedIn newsletter, so make sure to subscribe to that. LinkedIn newsletter. And did the, okay. Let me see. I see some of my comments are not going through. Let me check on that one because I thought they were. Let's see. I see there's a comment trying to find the links. I thought I put everything in there. Let me see what else is going on. And get my events. Sometimes you got to refresh the event page and oh my goodness, that cover a photo of me coming back from snack time. All right. If you refresh the page, always on the event itself, you should see all the links there, Kriti. You'll see it up above. So the success package is, if you refresh the links, it's in there. And again, use code SUCCESS so you get that for free. Please, please, please don't pay for that. All right, we got chats in there. What else have we not answered? I got the LinkedIn newsletter on there. And let's see, trying to see if there's anything more I can give you. I'll put one more comment here in the chat. My newsletter on my website gives you more, and I often share out free courses when I make the LinkedIn learning courses free. So connect. Let's see. All right. So get that in there. Will that go out? Let's see. Dismiss. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, let me get that refreshed. See, we always have fun on this. Okay. Put it over here. That'll go. All right. What other questions, comments? I'll hang out here. Oh, I was talking this morning. If anyone is interested, let's see if I can put the link here in the chat. My new book on your business analysis master plan for your career. So my business analysis career book, let's see, is now available on Amazon. I think they're actually still pre-ordering it. When's it available? Friday, yes, or Thursday. All right. But the Business Analyst Career Master Plan is available for you if you want more tools for career advice and guidance. That is out now. All right. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the comments here and seeing all the comments. If there's anything else we need to answer and ask, please stay on. What else can I do for you? And if not, the easiest thing, send me an email, connect with me more after this, as there's always lots of fun things to share, talk about more. Otherwise, go have a great day. Go get some great things done. Go be amazingly successful in adding some incredible value. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you all later. Aloha.